dishes stops. I was at Jiu-jitsu about an hour ago, and there's a competition coming up in São Paulo. And the last competition I went to, I got destroyed. Okay. And so I was a bit frustrated, obviously. And I don't want to lose again. So I was talking to my coach, right? And I was saying I need to train more than once a day, which is obvious, right, to me. Because all the guys, all the competitors, they train more than once a day, right? Sometimes even 3 times a day. And I don't know, because when I started there, they did training twice a day, and then some people stopped going, right? But the point is the vibe of the gym has kind of gone from competitor to hobbyist, And I am not interested in being a hobbyist. Which is what I am currently. If, I don't like it and I want to change it, right? And I think the progress I've made in the time I've been there is pretty cool. It's pretty impressive to me. But I'm playing a game of catch up because a lot of these guys have been doing it since they were kids. Since they were like 6 years old. Right? And if not, since a child, they've been doing it several years longer than me, right? And so they've already started the race, so I need to pick up my speed to get there. And I think if I get more training time, if I get more time on the mats, then I will beat them. I will choke them. I will break their joints, which is what Jiu-Jitsu is all about. I guess there's the point of view that Jiu-Jitsu is about, spirituality and stuff. I don't think so. I don't think that's what it's about. I think that's part of it, is having your ego. Having your ego dismantled, right? But, I think the part I like a lot more is winning. The part I like a lot more is beating people. And so that's kind of what I'm there for, right? It's a really therapeutic thing. It's good, stress relief or whatever, right? But that is one of the big reasons I do it. But then I want to take it further. I want to take it further. Okay. And yeah. So. This is called slime in America, but they like to call it amoeba here. I've had this conversation with many people. They say, that's not slime, that's amoeba, or whatever the hell, the Brazilian accent, on it. Okay, I'm trying to make this good sounds here. Oh, that's good. I like that. And so I've been doing jiu-jitsu, I've been working on getting my driver's license here. And, that's what's been occupying my time. things that keep me sane. Okay, an easy life is a hard one. You know. And I was talking to one of my coworkers yesterday. I'm an English teacher. No, that was earlier today, actually. I'm an English teacher. And he's Jewish. And me and him like to have these theological, philosophical and spiritual conversations, right? Because I find that stuff very interesting. And the concept at hand was, why did God give us free will, right? And he said, I asked him that question, and he said, I don't know. What do you think? I said, I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't be asking. And he said, what do you have a feeling? And I said, yes. For me, I was born in a Christian denomination. I was born in a Mormon family, right? And so a lot of my ways of thinking about things come from Mormonism. No, that's not true. That's a lie. That's not true. Mormonism drove me away from Christianity. And I kind of came to my own relationship with Christianity through psychedelics, right? But a religion that I connected with even more was Buddhism, right? Just the ideas make much more sense to me. But also, at the root of it, I think Christianity and Buddhism share a lot of principles. Jesus said the kingdom of God is inside you. And the kind of the, relinquishing of desire, which I know is, may not seem like a Christian idea, but it is, like the expression, it's easier for a camel to go through the thread of a needle than a rich man get to heaven, like what does that mean? Like when we look at people that are, there's a lot of rich Christians, right? There's not a lot of rich Buddhists, okay? And I think that is interesting, But, I want to be rich. I think everyone does, to an extent, but I don't think everyone wants it bad enough to do it, which is fine. I don't want it bad enough to, give up my sense of well-being in the pursuit of material goods. Like the balance I have of life, Anyway, so I was talking with my Jewish coworker, great guy, super nice guy. He sent me a meme earlier, which I thought was nice. Anyway, I said to him when he asked me what my idea was about why God gave us free will, and I said the Buddhist perspective is that free will is a separation from God, right? To be apart from God is the greatest pain that we can have. I listen to a lot of Ramble, and a lot of his ideas connect with me. I know they're not his ideas. He is a transmitter of those ideas, right? But anything that keeps us attached to our identity is keeping us from God, right? I know that sounds like what is that, right? But I think it makes sense, right? But then we have the question of ego, right? I think the ego is talked about in a lot of the spiritual circles as a negative thing, okay? But the ego keeps us safe, okay? Fear of the unknown is unfortunately a useful thing to have, right? And this is something I've had to reconcile, and I'm still reconciling it with my want to be accepting of the unknown, right? because sometimes even though it's scary, there be demons out there. You know, whether, you know, literally or metaphorically, like the shadow, right? If you guys are into Carl Jung, you know, the shadow. The shadow, you know, the capacity of every person to be evil, right? To subjugate and to, you know, to enslave, to hurt. And the shadow is an ugly thing, and I think you have to take control of your shadow, have a relationship with it, because if you don't, it'll come out in a violent way, you know, and it sucks. I've had that happen. And it's not a fun time. Alright. But you know, knowledge is ever encompassing. Knowledge is an ever-encompassing journey, right? Not just knowledge, wisdom, you know. Yeah, so I'm learning as I go, right? But I think I used to be kind of a more egoic and selfish person. I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to work on being less selfish. When I try to talk to women about these things, they look at me like I'm an idiot. They're like, that's just communication, bro. I was talking to one of my friends about this the other day. It's like, I have this armor I have built around me, like a shell, you know, that keeps me from the pain of others, right? Even the pain I inflict on them. And then also I have an inner shell that like keeps my pain inside of me and like out of my subconscious mind, or out of my conscious mind rather. And I've been kind of trying to make some holes in that shell so I can, you know, resolve the pain of people around me and myself, and make sure I don't give pain to other people when unnecessary. Sometimes giving pain to people is necessary, right? But if it's not unnecessary, I want to not do it, right? I've been reading the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. Really cool series. I'm on the 3rd book now. I started it at the beginning of May. They're big books, man, but sometimes I just get so into it, you know? I don't know if you guys are into fantasy. It's a cool thing. It was written by a man, pretty obviously, but it's good stuff. I don't think I've ever read a fantasy book by a woman. But they seem to be, I mean, this is my perception. I know this is probably sexist, you know, but a lot of them seem to be like super, like the fantasy is like, you know, 50 Shades of Grey kind of stuff, you know, or like a bit more sexual fantasy, right? Which is cool. That's fine to me, but it's like, the only reason I say that is because my sister and, you know, some of my female friends, when I ask them what they read, they tell me that kind of stuff, and then I start reading it. I'm like, oh wow, this is super interesting, right? And then in Brandon Sanderson books, like the sex scenes are super tame, right? They're like super like he melted in my arms, and then we retreated to my quarters, right? And then like female ones, like a bit more graphic. I don't know. I think maybe I'm just getting my sources wrong. I don't know, man. But I like reading, and you know, I'm an English teacher. I don't know if I said that already, but I really try to get my students to read in English because it's such a useful tool. A lot of my vocabulary came from reading. You know, I was really into Rick Riordan and Brandon Mole when I was younger. You know, like the Beyonders, Fablehaven, the candy shop, Candyland. once I read more than once, you know. But I think books are better than movies in the way, like, they require more investment, but they also give more reward. You know, I don't think because your imagination can animate better than anyone. You know, speaking of animation, the new Love, Death, and Robots season came out today. I watched all of them in one sitting. I watched all of them. I watched all of them in one sitting. I watched all of them in one sitting. And man, I'm gonna talk about this because I find it so interesting. So in one of the episodes, okay, if you don't want spoilers for it, skip it. But in one of the episodes, I thought this was so funny and so like kind of scary a little bit. There was an aquatic species. So there was this priest who found like a pod of dolphins dead on the beach, and one of them came alive. And then the priest told everyone about it, and then an aquatic alien species came, and they said to the priest, "We want to talk to the dolphin." And so the priest takes the alien to the dolphin, and the dolphin says, "Yeah, the humans are killing everyone, you know." And then the alien says, "So the crusade begins." and then they kill everyone. You know, just super creative stuff. I wish I was an artist. You know, I really wish I was an artist. I love ASMR, but it's so... It's limiting, I think. I think it's like, it's not like... I don't know, maybe it's because I could put more effort into it and make it more artsy, I guess, when I do role plays and stuff. But when I watch Love, Death, and Robots, I want to be an animator. You know, it's like, man, I want to tell stories like that. I want to tell stories like that. I want to make people feel like that, you know? And, yeah. What's something else? My go-to in my free time is putting on music and driving around in GTA. I've also been playing a lot of Helldivers too. I really do like that game, even though it's a bit frustrating sometimes. You know, it's so cinematic. It reminds me of a movie. You know, I feel like I'm in a movie, right? But I think art is so beautiful. I wish I got into paintings more. I feel like people see things in paintings that I do not see. Maybe I'm not, I don't know, maybe my taste is too common. You know? I don't know. But I'm going back to America in December to see my family. I'm gonna go to Disneyland and all that jazz. It'll be fun. I'm excited, but I also don't like the flight, and I don't really enjoy meeting some of my family members that I haven't seen in 2 years gives me some amount of anxiety. But hey, that's life. That is life. That is life. And on that note, I will see you guys later.